Hi, it's Ramesha here with Vocal Bliss. Today I would like to address 3 common reasons why a lot of people decide to not take vocal training. And I'm hoping to help you resolve these mental issues and hopefully nudge you toward taking vocal training. So we're going to talk about this in a minute. But first of all, I'd like to invite you to subscribe to my channel so that you won't miss any of the videos I put out. Okay, so the first reason, very common reason why people decide to not take vocal training is that they just don't like the sound of their voice. This is so common. And well, first of all, I have to say that unfortunately, because it's so easy nowadays to access music and recordings of all the great singers on the planet, we tend naturally to compare ourselves with them. So we take those examples and compare them with our singing and decide, oh, I don't have such a good voice. But this is totally unfair. First of all, you're comparing yourself with the professionals. These are people who supposedly at least have had lots of training. They may sing in their career, and there they are performing and singing. The other part also is that what you hear is recorded usually with state-of-the-art equipment. And that equipment, and I know because I've seen it and I've used it in recording studios, a lot of those softwares and pieces of equipment can make really anybody sound good. So it's such an unfair comparison. It's really like apples and oranges. So when you feel the tendency to do that, try to remember that, wait a second. This is my voice that I'm hearing here, natural with nothing, as opposed to what I hear through a recording that has gone through a lot of softwares and sophisticated equipment. So this is one part of this. The other part of this is that before training your voice, it probably won't sound good. So what you're hearing now may not have almost anything to do with how your voice will sound later. Oftentimes, when you train your voice, the voice goes through such a radical transformation that by the end of the training, your voice sounds very different. And I assure you, if you train your voice, if you work on it, after you train it, you will like the sound of your voice because it's your voice. It's part of who you are. It's part of your, the way you express yourself. It's very personal. It's very you. But at the same time, it's something that is now trained, and therefore it's a tool that's ready to be used, and it's working at its best. And so what you hear now may be very different from what you'll hear after training. I remember that happened to me. I used to really not like the sound of my voice, and quite frankly, I didn't like it even for a while through my training. But then after I went through it for a little while, then gradually I started to understand, oh, this is what I really sound like. And then I started to gravitate toward the kind of music that I felt more drawn to, and lo and behold, it seemed like my voice matched perfectly that kind of music, and it seemed like it was a good fit for that kind of music. So you just never know. From what you hear now and where you're at now, you just never know where you will be after the training. So keep that in mind. So the second great obstacle for many people to take voice training is, I don't have time. So this is like nowadays everybody's busy. And when you learn to play an instrument, you have to definitely put in sometimes hours of practice, depending how serious you are about it. But I studied violin, and violin is one of the hardest instruments, and you have to really work hours to get even a decent sound out at first. With singing, I'm not saying that you don't need to practice, but what I'm saying is even putting in a few minutes here and there throughout the day can really help tremendously to make progress. So for example, I am pretty busy too, but I try to practice my voice every day because of what I do. I sing and I teach, so my voice has to be in good shape. But I do it when I'm taking a shower. I'm doing when I'm driving the car. I'm doing it sometimes when I'm washing dishes and I'm standing there in the kitchen and I do some vocal exercises. And all these little slots of time throughout the day add up. By the end of the day, you might have had practiced, I don't know, maybe you practice 20, 30, 40 minutes. That's great. That's significant. So don't think that maybe in your mind you're thinking, oh, yeah, no, I don't have those hours. Who has that time? Well, you can really make time in between things. And so one little challenge that I want to give you is figure out little moments throughout the day when you could practice voice, maybe 5-10 minutes here and there between things, and write them down and decide, okay, I'm going to practice in the car, I'm going to practice in the shower, I'm going to whatever. And then post sticky notes everywhere in those locations where you know you're going to be able to practice, with a reminder, so that when you get in the car, for example, and you see the sticky notes saying sing or practice voice or whatever, then you do it and you remember to do it, and then gradually that will become a habit. And I assure you, sometimes I get in the car and I'm still maneuvering out of the parking spot and I'm already doing vocal warm-ups. It's just so ingrained, I don't even think about it. So anyway, so this is a suggestion, and I assure you it works. It works with me. I've given the same suggestions to other singers and students, and it works for all of them. So a little bit consistently goes a long ways. And the third common obstacle to singing is not really knowing where to start. This is something that can be really daunting, especially because you go on the internet, you go on YouTube, and you can find a gazillion videos there, and you don't know, some people say something and then some other teachers say something different, and you don't really know what to do. So here's my suggestion. The number one best way to learn singing, obviously, is to have one-on-one sessions with a voice teacher, a professional voice teacher, because you can get feedback and you can talk to them, you can get to know them and all that. You can also learn in a course, provided it's made by a professional teacher who knows what a student needs in terms of help, support, feedback, and all that. So that's also a possibility. But as far as choosing a teacher, this is what I would suggest. Watch some of their videos if they're available, and try to gauge not just how well they know things, and try to weed through some of the hype that often surrounds videos about singing for some reason, and try to feel, is this a person that I would like to work with? Is this someone I would trust? And most especially, is this someone who helps me feel comfortable? I say this because one of the most important things about singing and learning to sing is relaxation. So if you're working with someone who doesn't make you feel comfortable, it's very hard to relax. You should be able to feel that you can make mistakes, you can explore without being chastised because you made a mistake. So that's very, very important. So, obviously they need to be good teachers, but try to also look at whether this is a person that you feel comfortable with. That's all I wanted to say. And if you want to learn, but you haven't figured out yet how to start, if you want, you can start by going to the description of this video and find the link to your first voice lesson that you can watch for free. And that will give you at least a start. something to work with, something to see, okay, helps you feel that you can do this, because you can. You really can. So I hope you'll try that, and I hope that this video at least helped you to see the possibility. If you're in doubt of whether you can sing or not, I hope this video at least shows you the possibility that, okay, I think maybe I can at least give it a try. And don't give up on it. If you feel that singing is something important to you, important in the sense that it gives you joy, is something that you want to add to your life, by all means, give it a try and see how it works for you. Thank you so much for watching this. If you like this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. So, thanks a lot. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.